Hi good people from all around the world, this is Nick from OVA Let's Plays and welcome back to Valheim. Now this is post commentary because unfortunately my software did not recognize my mic after an update. So this is after the fact through editing that I'm doing this commentary. I did a pretty decent job unfortunately, but unfortunately I lost it. But in this episode, we go to the mountain biome. I got a lot of iron from the swamps, and I found out just how great the shield and the mace work together, especially the shield. The shield is amazing how much it can deflect. So I switched from the added gear to the shield and the mace, and I found it's really great. This is one of my favorite episodes that I've done so far. I love the mountain biome. It's very Christmassy. The swamp and the mistlands can be kind of Halloween-y a little bit, but not all that much. I wish there was like pumpkins. Sometimes in the plains they can have like fall tree looking ones in the plains, but it's still not quite as autumn as I wished. But at any rate, we go to the ice biome, and we take our frost, protection that we brought with us. And I love this biome. Like it's very dangerous and grueling in a sense that the biome itself can kill you if you don't have the proper gear or the proper frost protection. But at the same time, it's just so beautiful and so serene. Of course, the wolves are also very dangerous and very deadly. And which I find the moment I go into the biome, I'm barely in the biome and already the wolves are at me. It reminds me of that Dorkley video and I might share it at the end of the video. I might post a link to it or something at the end of when Mario and Luigi go into the ice world and everything. It's a funny episode. I'm not going to give the spoilers away. You can just watch the video on your own, but when I put the link down, if I can remember. I'm testing with the iron sledge because I read a tip that it will say too hard if you're near either a silver vein or obsidian. Now the same thing can happen with obsidian, so it can be misleading. But that's what I'm checking because I don't have the Wishbone. I almost said Ookie Boogie. I haven't beaten Bone Mass yet, so. But so far, I'm not doing too bad here in the biome, in the snow biome, or the ice biome. The mountain biome, I think is what it's actually called. But so I keep checking. I get my club level up as well. I heard the higher up you go, the more likely you are to find silver veins. So I haven't gotten high up enough, basically, is what happens here. But silver veins, it always reminds me of like someone that, like a nickname someone would be called if they donated the blood a lot. Good old silver veins saved so many lives. That's what I think of every time I say silver vein. I just think of someone who's donated over like 5 gallons of blood or something over time. And so we got the wolf pelt. It looks almost exactly like the deer, only it's white from the snow and from their fur. Fire is surprisingly effective. I found myself a bit over my head here. Like, I nearly died here, and I was, like, starting to retreat. The shield, it blocks a lot of the damage, but the problem is I'm not all that great. But the other problem is that when you go to attack after you block, unless you're really good at parrying, and I always try to figure out what the right rhythm is for each individual enemy, what proper parrying is. So I take my break here, because otherwise I'm going to die. I'm just flat out going to die from the wolves. But I come back, I found a troll as I'm trying to heal up here, and I find a troll. And I think this would be great if I brought the troll with me as a bodyguard, just like it went in through the plains when I had to get to that swamp. So I thought the troll would work great here and protect me, so So I brought the troll in. Troll in the dungeon. That's Harry Potter. Just look at how beautiful this... Like, I love many things about Valheim. Valheim is so beautiful. And I have compared it to Bob Ross paintings. Like, I can imagine Bob Ross painting this type of background. And I just love his work, not only just for painting, but to the ASMR community, and how he was kind of like the forefather of that, and how there's just message of positivity and just so calm and relaxing just watching him paint. And it's so beautiful that a lot of the background, a lot of the paintings that he's done. And this is when I thought that, you know, the troll was gonna protect me, but he just gets ripped apart by these wolves, just completely wrecked. It's so funny because for the longest time the troll was the toughest enemy by far. Like, there's no other enemy that came close. But then once I started getting into the plains, like even in the swamp, it held its own pretty much against multiple enemies. But once you start getting into the mountain biome and the plains, it's just no joke anymore. It's not going to be able to hold up against... So that, my one hope I had with the troll, you know, it faded away. Now this is the Fenrig, which is the werewolf that shows up at night. It kind of reminds me of the werewolf from Harry Potter a little bit too. Fire works great against this thing. Now, I was anticipating to just get completely wrecked and die right here. But if you have fire arrows, it's not nearly as bad. If you keep your distance and you have your fire arrows, you're going to be fine. If you were to do close combat with this thing, you might die unless you're really good at parrying and stuff like that. But I use fire arrows, and it turns out great. It's where we get the first wolf fang. So that's good. So we got 2 new things. So we got the wolf skin, and we got the wolf fang, so that'll be good for later. I go further up the mountain, and we finally come across the ice dragons, the drakes. They don't do all that much damage, but they can swarm you and overwhelm you if there's more than one. And the fire arrows are very effective against these. They work great. They're just amazing at beating them. I was kind of bummed out about the commentary because it was one of my better jobs I did, and losing that it always kind of sucks because you lose out on time. But on the upside, this episode was originally like 45 minutes, but I trimmed it down with editing, I think, to like 15. So it's not that bad. It takes time, obviously, to edit and then to do commentary all over again. Obviously, if I had the chance to go back in time, I would have done differently. I would have double-checked. But that's what I get for not double-checking before I record, to make sure my mic was on. It was just with OBS, sometimes after an update, it doesn't register the mic, so I have to make sure that I can see the bar moving. We come across our first dragon egg, which would make an amazing omelet, I bet you. It would make but then, you know, dragons would be so sad, but I bet it would be great. That and some dragon steak, you know, you might get heartburn, but I bet it would be a tasty, tasty breakfast, steak and eggs from dragons. And the further up we go, I think that's the peak where we need to be to find the silver veins. Either that or the American Red Cross. We need to find the silver veins there. We find our first obsidian deposit. These are great for making arrows because there's so many of them. I first stupidly used a copper axe, but then not a copper, bronze axe, and then I switched to iron because iron is needed. I'm kind of disappointed right now because iron is the highest pickaxe. There's no like black metal or no silver pickaxe. I'm hoping once the update happens that they'll make it like a higher pickaxe. But right now it's just It's kind of sad to be already at the top level at a certain thing that you can get, possibly. There's no... But then again, there's going to be loads of updates. There's the Hearth and Home update. That's going to be on September 16th. I am stoked about that. It's going to add a bunch of food, change the food system, change the blocking system. I hope more items are added. There was a skull-looking shield I saw that was part of the trailer. I'm looking forward to that. I'm way recorded way up ahead beyond the Hearth and Home. I've got like another 4 episodes recorded after this. So I was so excited when we found the motor, or modder. I probably pronounced it wrong, but this is the spawn of the 4th boss, the ice dragon herself, motor. So I was so excited when I found this, because I was so worried that I would not find it. I thought this biome was so small, but once you get into it, it's actually really big. I was worried I wasn't going to be able to find it, and I used the iron sledgehammer here, because I don't have a wishbone. I haven't beaten bone mass yet, and it works surprisingly well. I mean, it's a bit pain, but it does work. It will say too hard, and then it will pop up. And I start to dig, and sometimes it will freeze like that, especially when the ice dragons are. I don't know why, but there's the first silver vein. You didn't have to go to a blood donation center after all. It's right there. There's the silver vein. Alright, new material. So I think I've read somewhere on the wiki or the fandom that there's like 100 for each vein that you find for each spot. And so I was so happy to find that. This Drake was so annoying, was really annoying me, so I knew I had to kill it. At first I'd try to ignore it, but there's only so much that you can do before it starts getting too much. So eventually I do get home. It's a long way home, but I do get there, and then we get our first silver ore here. Later on I get 2 forges, or 2, forget what they're called, but 2 of those, basically the things, and 2 of the burners to burn in wood and coal. I get the smelter, 2 smelters and 2 delters. No, wait, 2 smelters and 2 furnaces. And with the obsidian, I'm excited to make the tool rack, because there's an upgrade to the troll armor you can do with that, and there's a further upgrade that is beyond what you're capable of doing right now, which suggests in the future there's going to be another upgrade to the workbench. So that's great, because the troll armor can be further upgraded, but I have everything that you can to upgrade the workbench, so there's another level after that. So it's going to be interesting to see what that is. Hopefully in the Hearth at Home update, we'll see. I'm kind of dreading the Mistlands update, because I've got arachnophobia, but I've faced spiders before in video games. Like Resident Evil is like, the Resident Evil series is by far the worst, especially the Resident Evil remake. That's really bad. There are some modders that have made some spiders. The modding community here is just amazing what they can make. Like, they've made the Kraken, they've made the Gloomweaver. It's the Gloomweaver, it's not pleasant by any means, but it's not as bad as the Resident Evil one, so I think while it's not pleasant by any means, it's not, I think I can deal with it and get through it. But I hope whatever they do, that it's not as bad, it's as bad or a little less than the Gloomweaver mod ones that they've done. But either way, unless it's somehow, I can't anticipate it being worse than Resident Evil. I can't. I don't know how it can get worse than those ones. But either way, I'll get through it, you know? It's just a video game. You have to remind yourself as you're getting, even though psychologically, you know, fear is a strange thing that way. It could be animatronics or whatever, and you're still scared. But the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. You know, you can't let fear get in the way of having fun or living life. You have to face it. If it's getting in the way, oh, that's the end of the recording. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a good day, and I appreciate you guys for watching. Hopefully this is a good episode, and I hope you have a good day. Bye, everybody.